I know, wow, this guy posts frequently. What can I say, writing is a passion of mine, and add on top this is basically a rework of a story I started years and years ago, so I'm excited to share a newer version. Ray blinked. The colossal eye, the pulsating flesh, it was gone. The police station still stood. Sheriff Brody, his face pale, was staring at him, a strange calm replacing the terror. It was just a hallucination, Ray Brody said, his voice low. One of those nightmares that's been plaguing this town for decades. I had them too. Back when I was a rookie. Ray's heart hammered in his chest. A hallucination? But the terror had felt so real. Brody continued, when I was young, a cult worshipped the old ones. Ancient, powerful beings. They brought the nightmares, the visions, the madness. We managed to stop them. Scattered them, but not before. Well, it left its mark on Wellington. Relief washed over Ray. The sheer insanity of the last few hours began to fade. He was still shaken, but he wasn't alone. At least he had one ally who understood the horror he'd been facing. So, the raccoons. The cave. It's all part of the curse? Ray asked, the weight of the past few months slightly easing. Not exactly a curse, Brody clarified. More like a lingering echo. Something stirred, something woke. Al saw one once, many years ago, something like what you described. A horror. Beyond words. I barely escaped with my sanity intact. You should have told me sooner, Ray. Together, we can face this. The prospect of working together offered Ray a glimmer of hope. There was still the terrifying reality of the cave, of the eye creature and its grotesque lair, but now he had someone on his side. This strange alliance, this shared burden of knowledge, felt stronger than the terror that had threatened to consume him. This time, however, there was also a cold dread in the air. The old ones had returned, and this time, they weren't hiding their presence. The next morning, the snow stopped, revealing the devastation. Trees were twisted, roads were blocked, and a strange stillness hung over Wellington. A creeping dread settled over the town, a quiet that felt heavier and more menacing than the storm that had passed. In the distance, they could hear the unsettling screech of the mutant raccoons, their cries now echoing closer than ever before. Something more powerful than these animals was pulling the strings, orchestrating their savage attacks. It was then that Ray saw it, a black mark, like a brand, etched into the snow. It was a symbol he recognized with a shudder. It was the same symbol that marked him, the brand of Caligula. The mark wasn't just on the snow, it pulsed with a faint, eerie light. It was expanding, spreading across the town. A terrifying silence filled the air, followed by an almost imperceptible tremor of the ground.